everyone, it's Pastor Scott Martz with Living Faith Lutheran here in Midlothian, Texas. This video is part of a playlist on our YouTube channel called Our Current Crisis, A Pastor's Perspective, just my small attempt to speak into this pandemic in which we're living more from a biblical point of view, which in my opinion is somewhat missing on social media. And today I want to talk about good news. In contrast to all the bad news we've been hearing for weeks, especially the last week, it seems like every evening it just gets worse. I mean, last night I heard that among some of the COVID-19 survivors are finding that there could be permanent heart damage. Just how much bad news can we hear? So we want to contrast that this morning with some good news. Okay, let's look at some good news. We're going to look at good news, first of all, concerning COVID-19. Northern Italy just got hammered with the COVID-19 and spikes in death rate and people admitted to intensive care. And this is from 2 days ago. Things have gotten better since then even. But 2 days ago, there was a second day in a row where the number of people admitted to intensive care had dropped. So it seems like, again, in Northern Italy, that they're on the downside of this epidemic. And that's good news. We will take it. Okay, the next bit of good news is from New York City. Governor Cuomo today, in his report, pointed out that things have appeared to be plateauing out as far as number of new cases of COVID-19. And then also those being admitted to ICU has dropped considerably, which he says is very good news. So going forward, he pointed out that as far as restarting life, that he believes that testing is the key. And two types of tests. First of all, he mentioned, and he said that it's on a small scale right now, but the tests are available that test antibodies in the blood. And we'll just let Governor Cuomo speak here.
Also, rapid testing to determine whether or not you have the virus now exists. They have, quote unquote, 15-minute tests that are commercially available. But again, they have to be brought to scale.
So in essence, two bits of good news from that, the testing, that we have the antibody testing available, has to be scaled to a much larger scale, but still it's available. And those that have had it, and in his opinion, then they get back to normal. That's a good thing, at least you would know. And then the second test is the quick test, 15-minute test to see if you actually have it. And going forward, that should make it a little bit easier in handling this epidemic. So those two bits of information are good news. Now you may have heard as well the bad news that because of the pandemic that Easter has been canceled this year. That's not entirely true. Surprisingly, Easter has already happened. You see, it happened 2,000 years ago. Jesus, the perfect Son of God, having lived a perfect life, he took that perfect life and he allowed himself to be crucified on a cross. And as it turns out, he was paying for everyone's sins. He was paying for those sins so that we could live forever with him in heaven. And having paid for every sin, he died. His body was buried in a tomb. And then on the third day, which was a Sunday morning, Jesus did what no one else has ever done. He came back to life, and he still is alive. And Jesus promises us that because he lives, because he resurrected, that we too will one day be resurrected. And for those who believe in him, resurrected to everlasting life, life to the fullest, a quality of life we could only hope for here, Jesus has promised to give to us. And that's what Easter is all about, because Jesus lives. We have every reason to celebrate. And even though we cannot meet physically together as a church because of the pandemic, we're still meeting virtually. You are invited as well to join us for our live stream Easter celebration this Sunday, 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time. There's a link in the description below. You can set a reminder for yourself, you and your entire family. Come worship with us at Living Faith. You can also get to the live stream by going to living-faith.church and simply hitting the live stream link. May God continue to bless you even in the midst of this pandemic.